We're good.
This conference will now be recorded.
Alrighty, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the MPO Policy Board meeting for the Area Plan Commission of Tippecanoe County. I don't presume we don't have to take a roll call.
Well, we probably should, since this is a virtual meeting, at least to get who's here for the record.
Okay, I don't have a list, so Tim, if you want to call out, go ahead. I'm here.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. All right, so we got Mayor Dennis, very good. Tracy Brown.
Present.
Gary Schroeder.
Present.
Perry Brown. I see his name on there, but maybe his mic isn't working, so we'll come back to Perry. Peter Bunder.
Here.
Cindy Murray.
Here.
Julie Ginn.
Present.
All right, and we'll try Perry Brown one more time. Okay, so not sure if Perry's there or not, but even without him, we do have a quorum.
All righty. Thank you so much. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the September 14th, 2023. I'll entertain a motion in a second for the minutes.
So moved, Cindy.
Second, Tracy.
Under will second.
Okay, Cindy and Trace. Any questions, corrections, changes, errors that are overt and need to be rectified at this meeting? Hearing none, all in favor of the minutes as presented, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Anybody opposed? All right, they do pass. Next is the administrative modification for the fiscal year 2024 through fiscal year 2028 Transportation Improvement Program. And this will be Doug. Rock our world, Doug.
Great. Well, good afternoon, everyone. As part of our policy, if we pass or do a modification to the Transportation Improvement Program, we report that action to the following policy board meeting, which we are doing today. And this is in regards to the Morehouse Road project, specifically the construction phase. And what it does is reflect an increase in the construction cost and also the increase in the amount of local funds. So we have a match of local funds and federal funds. This is actually requested by NDOT. It appears that the Federal Highway Administration is watching closer to the funding, and NDOT, since the change was significant, asked that we modify the tip. So basically, that is the modification in itself. Any questions or comments?
Anything for Doug? All right, does this take any legislative action, Doug?
It does not. It was for information.
I appreciate the information. Thanks, buddy. Next is the AC progress report, and that will also be Doug.
I'm going to start out with, first of all, the Veterans Memorial Parkway driveway access. Earlier this year, we heard and actually saw proposals to develop the intersection of Veterans Memorial and US 52. And when we started looking into that, specifically one development that was proposed, they had a number of new driveways and widening of existing driveways. And as you might remember back when Veterans Memorial Parkway was developed, the rights to access the road were purchased where only a limited number of breaks are allowed. And since we wanted to make sure that future developers understand this, we had a good discussion at the September Technical Transportation Committee and actually developed this memorandum in terms of two things. Is that the committee unanimously agreed that there should be no new driveways allowed along the subject section of Veterans Memorial Parkway, and this is specifically between Concord Road and the Norfolk and Southern Railroad Bridge. This prohibition includes right-in only, right-in and right-out only, and full access driveways. Now, in recognition that there are developers who would like to pursue additional driveways or changes, we also left the door open, and the Federal Highway Administration and NDOT has developed a process to look at changing limited access right away. And instead of having the NDOT staff do this task, the Area Plan Commission would act in that capacity. So if a developer did come in and wanted changes, we would then go through the process that is laid out between NDOT and Federal Highway, report back to the Technical Transportation Committee, and then that committee would make the final decision. So we just wanted to bring this forward again. It's probably been a number of years since limited access was discussed on Veterans Memorial Parkway. So that's why we have this short driveway access memorandum. Questions or comments?
Anything for Doug?
I did just
Yeah.
want to add something in real quick, and that is that it's not as though there will be no access points to properties. Many of the properties along this corridor do currently have some access. It's just that we don't want to add a bunch of access points to what's already available. So this will still allow people to develop property along there. We just don't want to create a situation where there are additional conflict points that aren't needed and really compromise the safety of the road.
Hey Doug, Gary here, and just a
Yes.
clarification, you may have covered
Yes.
this, but you said that limited access was purchased, so evidently the owners at the time should know that. So you're really, the sites are already there and you're really not taking anything away. This is just more of a notification memo, and the rights that are there stay, and future requests would be a little more difficult to get. Is that what you're saying?
Basically, you are correct that the limited access breaks that are there that were left or given when the road was developed do remain there, and that the memorandum here reaffirms that in this corridor, they feel that there should be no additional right-in, right-out driveways or full access driveways. So that a developer could come in and still ask that we wanted to have the one driveway that is allowed, but have an additional driveway. Then we would go through the process, the NDOT limited right-of-way access guidance that's shown on the memorandum. Does that answer your question?
Well, it kind of does, but I'm guessing, I'm just wondering why, if it's already limited access has been purchased and the driveways are there and sometimes they can move them, is this just more informational or is it more restrictive?
It's more informational because what we have seen is developers have come in and don't realize that the limited access has been, or the access has been purchased and limited. So basically, instead of them developing plans and spending money on, site plans, they know up front that, this is it. This is the access that was given to the adjoining property owners.
Good, I think that's a good idea. Is that something that we would share with the current property owners, since there's probably not too many?
We can, if there is an interest in doing that.
Okay, just a thought. Thank you, Doug.
Sure. Then I'm going to go ahead and go on to US Bike Route 37. As you may remember, earlier this spring, the Indiana Department of Transportation submitted the application for designating the US Bike Route, and this was basically connecting Indianapolis to Chicago through the Lafayette area. The application was not complete in that the NDOT's commissioner's signature was not present. AASHTO, the body that reviewed these permits, did look at it and give preliminary approval, basically, or provisional approval. And after that happened, it was decided that NDOT central office withdrew the application. And they did so for several reasons. One was that there were some comments, negative comments, specifically for basically 3 sections of the proposed route. We have met with central office staff and discussed where to or what to do next. And the suggestion was to look at alternatives for these routes. And then what they wanted to do for these alternatives was to have bicycle or cyclist input. So we are in the process now of trying to come up with suggestions or alternatives for these 3 suggestions. 2 of those are located basically in the Rensselaer area, one on US 231 and State Road 16. Alternative routes have been developed, and we are currently asking cyclists in the area to actually ride those and then provide feedback. The other one is River Road, and the NDOT staff did recognize that in the future, the Wabash River Enhancement Corporation will build a trail, but in the meantime, they would like to see the route relocated that is a little bit more bicycle friendly. There were more negative comments regarding this section. So we've been working with the West Lafayette and Lafayette Bicycle and Pedestrian Committee and using a couple bicycle apps, Bike Ride and Strava, developed basically 3 alternatives, and we are discussing those right now. We met or discussed that last night at the West Lafayette Bicycle Pedestrian Committee, and then next Wednesday we will do the same in the Lafayette Committee. So it looks like right now the best way to move forward on this is to put together a simple online poll with the different routes so that cyclists can choose and then provide feedback. So we are still in the process, and once we get these sections updated, then of course they will have to be reviewed by the local government agencies for approval. So I doubt these changes will be done by the spring submittal, but definitely by the fall submittal of next year. Questions or comments regarding that?
The process sounds good. All right.
Okay,
Keep on
go
going,
on
Doug.
to-
You're on a roll.
yeah. Going on to our next big project. This is looking at South Street, specifically in Lafayette, from Sagamore Parkway to the interstate. We are in the process of doing a road safety audit in terms of looking not only at crashes, but also at traffic congestion and multimodal travel access to the entire corridor. We have a lot of data that we put together with crashes, collision diagrams for all of the intersections, crash heat map. We put together a map showing city bus, their routes, stops, and ridership information. And all of this is actually available on our website under crashes. So if you have any interest in that, the information is there to look at. So the big process is basically 3 meetings. We've already had the first one, and that was an online meeting with all of the different people and players that we involve, and that includes folk from the city of Lafayette, from NDOT, from Federal Highway, from City Bus, and we had a very good online meeting where everybody was giving us their observations, comments, and then also we discussed both the crashes, multimodal, and also congestion. So very good meeting. And of course, all of that is online. We summarized all of those um, comments, perceptions, whatnot. And then also you can see the meeting if you like. The second step is, I guess, the best part of the whole audit process is where we actually do a walkthrough, where the feet hit the ground and then we actually see what is going on. And we actually had that yesterday. It was a great weather day. So I guess finding a 4-leaf clover on the audit did work. But we had a good staff, a representation from different agencies. We walked the corridor, and a special thanks to City Bus We met at the closed TGIF restaurant. They transported us in the morning to the initial spot at Sagamore Parkway, and then picked us up in the afternoon when we were finished on the east side of the corridor. So I just wanted to give a special thanks to them for their assistance. And it was great. I mean, we saw a lot of things going on. And the next step, which will occur next Friday, is where we will all gather again. And then we will basically lay out, present all of the observations that we have. And then the good part about this whole thing is then we will take what we observed and then start putting together short, medium, and long range projects or improvements. And that's basically the goal. We're looking at all of the crash data, not only on paper, but then actually looking at it in field. And then with that and with the whole host of different people, come up with helpful projects, improvements for the entire corridor. So, and then of course, after that, we will put a report together and then roll that information out. So a big project, considering that in 5.5 years from January 1st of 2016 to July 31st of 2021, there were 1,914 crashes in this corridor. So it's just amazing the number of crashes, and most of them, pretty much the majority of them, were all rear end crashes, not only going into the intersection, but also going out of the intersection. So there's issues with a lot of congestion, people waiting for traffic lights. So once we finalize or have the third meeting, then we'll put it all together and then present our findings and the report to this committee. Any questions or comments?
All right.
And going on to the federal funding obligation, since last month's meeting, there has been no changes. We have not obligated any additional federal funds. We're hoping to do so here in December. The Morehouse Road project is still on a December letting, so hopefully we will have something to report in January in terms of obligating our federal funds. We have still not received any news on the distribution of reallocated federal funds that happened or occurred several months ago. And when we do that, we will present that information as well.
All right, Doug, how about the NDOT 18-month letting list?
We do have projects coming up. In the packet was the report. And regarding the project that was on the October 12th letting on State Road 28, I did look this morning, as you can see there on the screen, that the project was repair or replace joints over the east branch of the Wea Creek on State Road 28. There were 6 bids, and the low bid was just under $300,000. And according to the information I saw this morning, the project was awarded to that firm. Going back to the first page, in December, we have 2 projects coming up. One I've already mentioned. The other one is on State Road 26, small structure replacement with bridge. That's over Goose Creek, which is the west side of the county. And then looking further down, project number 6, there was a change. This project moved from a January bid letting to a February bid letting. And this is noise abatement. And if I remember correctly, part of the wall, I think on the west side along I-65 was damaged due to a car crash, and this project will repair that damage. Looking down at projects 8 and 9, one is at McCarty Lane on State Road 26, again, a new traffic signal. And then one underneath that on State Road 225, the truss reconstruction or repair. As you can see, it's still on track for a July letting. And then looking further down, projects 21, and then on the second page, 22 are 2 local projects, the second part of Morehouse Road, and then Bridge 527, both are county projects. And we do have a new one on I-65, is a small structure pipelining project. This is County Road 80 south over the ditch. So in a nutshell, that is kind of the interesting points with the 18-month letting list. Any comments or questions?
Questions for Doug? All right. Thank you so much, Doug. Next item on the agenda is other business. Do we have any other business? Hearing none, I'll move to the final agenda item, and that is citizens' comments. We'll go ahead and pause for the cause for citizens' comments. Doug, you gonna put us on the clock?
I think Ari usually does that.
Whoever's got the clock. Are we started?
Yes, the
Okay.
clock is running.
Okay, cool.
Okay, looks like we did not have any comments come in on Facebook or YouTube.
All righty, very good. The next item is adjournment, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second.
All right, a motion and a second. Do we need to do a roll call vote for adjournment?
I suppose we probably should.
All right. John Dennis, aye. Kevin Underwood, not there. Tracy Brown,
Aye.
Gary Schroeder,
Aye.
Peter Bunder,
Aye.
David Hiddle. He's not here. Cindy Murray,
Aye.
Julie Ginn.
Aye.
Who am I missing?
Well, we did have Perry Brown and Debbie Calder join us partway through the meeting.
Barry Brown,
Aye.
Debbie Calder.
Aye. Thank you.
All righty, that should get us out, right?
Yes.
Okay, then thank you all for attending today. Record time of 24 minutes. I want Roseworski to be aware of that.
I
And
will make,
we will all talk. Yeah, let them know, Cindy. And we will all talk again